are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And today it is the Barnes, Tony, and Dwayne show. How's it going, man? Been a little bit. Good to have you back. How's everything going?
Pretty good. It's been a minute since I've been here.
Yeah. You've seen some up and down with the Reds. Maybe better than you're expected. I know it's still obviously a losing record, but they're competing out there,
obviously
scoring runs.
I mean, we're like, well, we're both fourth in our division. So I mean, the Yankees aren't doing too well either.
Wow, dude. Watch out, Brian.
You know what I was disappointed in is Lodolo. I have him for my fantasy team, and I thought he was gonna have a breakout year, and now he's on the injured list. Like,
oh, dude,
yeah.
It's tough. But that's baseball. You never know, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, your poor fantasy teams.
Yeah. What are we gonna do, Tony? What are we gonna do? But so much to get to. Let's just get right into it. In the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it, Tony. Yep. And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right.
So another Yankee win last night, this time 7-4 in the first game of their 4-game set with the Toronto Blue Jays. They do switch it up at the end and go with Cordero as the opener. Here we go! Brito as the long man. That works very well. Right away, Cordero 6 up, 6 down. So taking the pressure off the offense, who right away gets going. And Aaron Judge bomb off Alek Manoah to right center for 375 feet. Also, Willie Calhoun later in the inning, a 2-run shot, 404, scoring Gleyber Torres. So already 3-0. And then the fact, too, that you've kept Brito away from that dangerous top half of the lineup, to start the game. Cordero doing the job. The Yankee offense keep plucking away at Manoah, who did just not have it. After this one, his ERA sits at 5.4, a guy that was one of the better pitchers in the American League the last 2 years, but just does not have it. Command, location, pitch sequence, the whole thing is just out of whack. They had a run on a Higashioka single in the 4th, a Judge walk in the 4th as well. So 7 walks for Alek Manoah in 4 innings. That's pretty embarrassing. Rizzo with a double in the 6th as well. That scored Jake Bauers. So that made it 6-0. Brito, had been, cruising along in relief, which was nice to see after seeing him struggle early on in some of his starts. Obviously, the controversy, came, and I think it started really with the Blue Jays broadcasting team in the 8th inning. Aaron Judge hits his second home run of the game off Jackson, the reliever for Toronto. And John Boy's talking about it, and it appears that he's looking at the dugout, looking at a first base coach, whatever the case may be, before he hits the home run. So it starts all this speculation, what's going on. They ask him after the game. He says, that he was, telling his teammates to quiet down. Boone had gotten tossed for arguing balls and strikes because there's always Judge, the big stature, getting the strike zone mixed up with him.
Always,
that's what he says. When you freeze frame, it doesn't look like he's looking over there. It looks like he's looking at a coach. So people were just talking about signs. And, my whole thing is, and, people can, blow this out, proportion any way that they want. And just with, signs, I mean, it goes back to, maybe like the 20s where, you're whether it's signs from the catcher or the pitcher tipping having a tell of, how he sets up to throw the ball based on what pitch he's throwing. So I think that's really what, ensued here. And, he wasn't going to say that, but that's one of those unwritten rules of baseball that, everybody does. So I don't think it's any more than that. And obviously him and Boone on the same page talking about, telling the dugout to calm down. I know you have the freeze frame up here, Tony.
Yeah, you want to freeze frame him just looking at the dugout or where you think he's looking, dude?
Start from like, I don't know, just a couple seconds before, maybe, just to kind of see it live.
Yeah, sure. So this is him at the at bat. They do show a replay angle in slow-mo of it. But this is right before, the guy starts his wind up and everything like that. And he just gives it, a little peek over here. He does that for a few pitches. And, they were saying how, like, all these pitches, from, I forget who the pitcher is. You know who the pitcher is, Brian?
Jackson,
the bullpen guy, Jackson. Yeah. They're saying, like he was throwing all sliders. Judges kind of like looking out at the dugout, it seems, right before the guy's pitching. So, I mean, it is a little odd for sure. And honestly, like, I know people have been blowing it out of proportion in terms of, like, it's cheating, whatever. Like Brian was saying too, there's like a legal way to steal signs, if the dugout or the players in your team have figured out like, like this guy's tipping his off-speed pitches, like, yeah, you're going to take advantage of that. That's just kind of the way the game is played and everything. So I don't know. It's just tough because then it's like, like, why is he lying? Like the fact that he is looking over the dugout to calm them down, I think, like moments before this pitcher starts his windup and everything, I think is kind of hogwash. It's odd to me for sure. I mean, that's what the man said, so I guess you have to take his word for it too. But people were speculating, it's like, well, if this pitcher is tipping off pitches, first game of the series, like they're not going to be like, we found a tell, so then he can be like, they know, like, I gotta stop, giving out my tell, whatever, dude. So it's like, yeah, they're gonna play it off as like, yeah, we're just like, I was trying to calm them down from them talking trash or whatever. So either way, I mean, I don't think it's anything malicious or illegal in terms of breaking the rules of the league or anything. So, but I mean, for sure, I mean, if this conversation was the other way, like, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is like looking at the dugout, like Yankee fans would probably be saying the same thing about how odd it is. But, here we are. So we got to take the man's word for it at that point. I mean, what do you want to do? Like launch an entire investigation, Brian? I don't think so, dude.
No, it's like, that's not warranted.
No.
I don't know what you think, Dwayne.
I mean, I think people are just looking way too deep into it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to hit the ball. I mean, you have to stop him. If you don't want him to hit 2 home runs, stop the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think cheating in baseball is at an all-time high. So I think people are just automatically so sensitive to a lot of things that go on with the sign stealing and whatnot. But at the end of the day, he goes up there and hits the ball. I think people are looking way too deep into it.
Yeah, you're right. And even if they stole the signs legally, like you're saying, like people are gonna be like, like they can't be doing that, even though it is legal. I think people are hypersensitive to that now because the whole Astro scandal and everything. So, it's like walking on eggshells, as they say, Brian.
Yeah. And like you were saying with the tipping of the pitches, I mean, that's on the pitcher. Manoah clearly has had a terrible start to his season. He has no control. That's on him. He's got to do better. And that these guys are so good at what they do. They're going to pick up something, from the pitcher. If they notice, that's what he's going to throw. And also with him, maybe let's say he wasn't looking over the dugout, whatever. It's just like, have you ever heard anybody say, I was getting the tell on what pitch was coming? Like no one's ever said that. So it's like, you can't blame him for that. I know Matthew has a couple comments here, but it's I know the gist of it is it's legal. It's not like there's a trash can, a buzzer, it's not any of that. It's like, Alek Manoah, you got to like refine your stuff, mix it up, and don't give the batter the same thing so he knows what to expect.
Yeah, totally. And just getting to a few comments here. We have quite a lot. Matthew and Buffer in here early. Matthew with a hum-diddly-dee. Buffer asking Matt, how are you? Matt comes in and say, hey, Bonds, you look like you play for North Carolina sport. And
with a mix of TBC Scott.
Oh, yes, of course. In the offseason, dude, And he says, we were all over it last night, excited about the Yankees win. He says, I'm doing great, Buffer. How are you? Buffer backing Judge. He goes, that's BS. Judge's eyes were not getting an advantage. And these guys weighing in on this. Matt says, I feel like it's always in Toronto too, boys, that Judge gets porked with the strike zone. We have to look into that, Matthew, for sure. And he goes, like, almost every time they're in Toronto, Boone gets tossed. It's within the game. It's fine. He's saying for stealing that sign. If you're tipping pitches, what do you do? Expert, I would imagine is what he meant there. It's only fucked up if you do what the Astros did, bring in outside technology. He goes, if you're dumb enough to be tipping your pitches, the batter and opposing offense has every right to go for it. And he's totally right. It's all within the confines of the game. It's all good. People making it a big deal. Like, shut the fuck up, he says. Right, exactly. Then don't tip your pitches. Matthew's getting angry, dude.
Well, and he's right. And the thing is, we've been the victim of it on the other side. I mean, think back to Sonny Gray, Aroldis Chapman, Carl Pavano, A.J. Burnett. You're telling me those guys weren't tipping their pitches? Even Severino has gone through that at times. That's why he gets lit up. So it's a normal thing that happens.
Right.
And, it's typical, though. The Blue Jays just have stirred stuff up ever since, that core got together. Mm-hmm. You think about Manoah chirping in the offseason. You think about what Vladdy said. But like I've been consistent with, nothing has been accomplished yet. So it just seems like there's been a lot of barking, but no actual performance, no achievement. I don't know if they've won anything other. I don't even think they've won a wild card series up to this point with this group. They haven't done anything in a long time. So I think it's a lot of wasted energy. And it was nice to obviously be on the right end of things in this one last night. They did make a late push in the 8th inning. Brito running into some trouble. Merrifield single, a Springer ground ball, a Bichette single. All of that, it resulted in 3 runs. Also, Vlad Guerrero Jr. With a double as well off of Ian Hamilton. So then they went to Michael King for the final 4 outs to pick up his 3rd save of the season, and really was just very calm, cool, and collective, commanding the strike zone. 8 of 12 pitches for strikes. So it was nice to see the Yankees hang on there, have another representative performance offensively. So you love to see that. You love to see Judge locked in. And it's a good way to set the tone in a road series, a division series. We talk about the importance of these games now that there's less of them, 6 less than there used to be. So you feel great about it, and you feel maybe this is the way to go until we get reinforcements back with Brito that, he shouldn't start games because, when it's just a bad omen when the pitcher gives up 3 in the first, the offensive approach changes. And I think, it ends up in less runs. So if you need Cordero to step in there, I'm sure Ian Hamilton could do it as well. I definitely missed the Chad Green days. He was probably the best opener, Tony, that I've ever seen. I know you always respected him after that 3-inning save on Sunday Night Baseball against the Mets a couple years ago. But religiously though, he would have 6 up, 6 down, 6 strikeouts.
No, honestly, he really was great.
That's awesome. And if you're gonna do that,
what's he doing nowadays, dude?
He's with the Blue Jays, but recovering from elbow surgery. So all of that being said, you feel great. You got Severino rehabbing in Somerset. AA tonight. So that's going to be nice. If everything goes well there, we might see him actually against the Reds, I believe, this weekend. So they're playing. So that's kind of interesting. So little battle there. And then tonight, we're going to get Herman versus Gausman. Obviously, Gausman, is the more talented pitcher. But, you look at this, he's actually got hit a lot more despite a lower ERA than Herman. Herman's led up 28 hits in 45 innings. He's led up 46 hits in 48 innings. The difference being the strikeouts, 67 with Herman having 47. Herman also twice the amount of walks with 15 and 2 more home runs. So, it's definitely not an easy matchup for them. We've seen Gausman give them trouble before, but also we have seen the Yankees be able to hit him. I know that he faced us, I think, earlier this year, 7. This is in New York, 7 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. So obviously had her number then. Last time out, he was great. No walks, 9 strikeouts, 3 hits, no runs against Philly before taking it on the chin against the Red Sox in Fenway. We've seen that kind of hurt all pitchers, at times 3 1/3, 10 hits, 8 runs. So should be another fun game. I'm sure, at some point or another, it'll come down to kind of the last moments. That's what you love about these division games. But it is nice, after the Yankees, dropped that opening, game to Tampa, you think about it, they've won 3 out of 4 games, and have hit well in all of them, shown an ability to battle back, to have more consistent offense where it's not just 3 in the third and then that's it for the rest of the game. They're able to chip away. And I think that's what good teams do. And it definitely is just refreshing to see them, have more better rhythm on offense. And I'm sure it's definitely obviously a big part of it is having Aaron Judge back in this lineup.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you look at the Yankees as a team so far this month, we're more than 2 weeks into May. They lead the league offensively in home runs, and then they're second, I think, in every other offensive category, like on base percentage, average, RBIs, everything like that. So they've been absolutely churning so far through May. Obviously, you want to see what they do as we get to the second half of this month. But you can imagine, it's going to be a little bit of a different Yankee lineup that, Gausman sees coming in here. I think the last time they pitched was, I don't know, that was in the end of April, right?
Yeah.
I think that series. So, since then, literally the Yankees have been like almost like a flip of the coin here in terms of what they've been producing. So, maybe Gausman gets into some trouble here. And like you said, Yankees are just on a complete roll right now. Several guys are hot right now. Rizzo, Judge, Volpe's been great. Looks great defensively too.
Yeah, he makes all the plays, all the throws. And one thing that's underrated, we know what Rizzo does offensively. There is such a comfort level with him when a throw comes over, whether it's high, whether it's low. He's going to like position himself to make the play. He makes like almost every play.
He's got a good stretch too. He can pick the ball really well.
Yeah. And obviously a great leader, great attitude. So you love to see that, and you love to take game 1 here. We'll see if they can take game 2 tonight. Tony, what happened yesterday afternoon in Washington?
Nothing good, dude. There was no love. It's kind of the exact opposite of what the Yankees experienced. Mets fell. It's actually 10-3. Let me fix that. I'm sorry. I'm doing the Mets a disjustice here, dude. They scored 1 more run.
That offense is churning.
My bad, dude. So, Peterson on the mound here against the Nationals, and, you're, again, like, I don't want to have to take a broken record with this whole, it's the Mets. They've been down in the dumps, dude, playing the worst teams in the entire league. I think 4-9 in their last, or 5-9, whatever it was, dude, in the last like 14, 13 games. Absolutely horrendous, dude. And, you're looking forward, looking actually a little bit behind here, when they first started these series against Detroit and against, Colorado and Cincinnati. You're thinking like this is really where the Mets can kind of bolster their record and whatnot.
Do you know what their record is?
What do you mean?
In those games, like there's 13 games. You know what it is?
Isn't it 4-9?
Yeah, 4-9.
I just said that, Brian.
I honestly misheard you. I think you misspoke.
No, I said 4-9 in the last like 14, 13 games, whatever it was. Dwayne, did I not, Dwayne?
Hey, I'm not trying to get in the middle of this.
Oh,
well,
dude.
I'm
not here to choose sides.
But honestly,
right,
Tony,
right.
That's my bad. I just heard Evan and Craig talking about it yesterday. So I was just excited to share.
Dude. Yeah.
Continue on.
So anyway, dude, there's really nothing good going on here. David Peterson on the mound yesterday, talking about someone who really needed a great start, someone who's been given chances time and time again, and just totally freaking blew it, dude. What is this? God, like the 9th game in a row, we're giving up runs in the first inning.
And how many games has he given up 5 runs this year? Probably 90% of his starts.
Literally, almost every single one. And you think of, again, looking back during spring training, David Peterson was probably one of the bright spots on spring training because he didn't give up 1 run in all of spring training, struggled with some walks and stuff, but literally like didn't give up any runs during spring training.
And now you have an 80 ERA and you're getting outpitched by Patrick Corbin, of all people.
Absolutely ridiculous. And again, it's just like I said, like bottom of the first, like you're giving up runs. It's like, Brian, you just said it too. Like when a pitcher gives up runs, which is what the Mets have been doing for the past like 2 weeks, it changes the dynamic of how batters approach, their at-bats here,
right?
How they approach the game offensively. And it's just people, again, like, first inning, Peterson does not give you depth. You don't have to go into the bullpen, which is exhausted. Batters are thinking about this. Like, we have to score now. And honestly, the Mets do that. They've been doing a great job in kind of answering back quickly. They answered back in the top of the second. Marte actually had a nice base hit. We've been seeing a little bit of an uptick in offense from him, which is nice, but I'm still kind of on the fence about him. But, nice single. Next pitch, I think McNeil is up. He steals second. There's a bad throw from the catcher to second base. He's able to go to third. McNeil is up at that point, and you get a nice RBI single. You like work the bases, dude. Marte displayed some speed, displayed a nice bat, dude, and then ends up getting brought home by McNeil. I mean, that's great, fundamental baseball. You tie the game up, by the way, But then it's just all right, next inning, giving up more runs. Peterson's just giving up hits. And it's just again, nothing is good at all, dude. And it's just so tough. The Mets should be scoring more. And you look at the lineup. I mean, it was kind of a weird lineup. I would imagine Buck is trying some new things here. The lineup itself in terms of batters was fine. You had Nimmo, obviously leading off, then Lindor, then Alonso, Tommy Pham batting cleanup, which is interesting. Marcana batting after him, then Marte, McNeil, Escobar, Alvarez. So business as usual there, but Alonso was at the DH spot. We threw Marcana at first base, Tommy Pham in left field. Obviously, I've been talking a lot about I guess what we're lacking in the outfield, which is really everything, honestly. Our outfielders are too slow. They don't have arms, dude. They're not great outfielders. So I guess throwing Tommy Pham in left field to see what he can do is fine. I think he had a decent throw in from left field to try and throw someone out at home plate. I think he ended up bouncing it, but still, it's just there's no arm. All right. And he's not quick enough, in left field, doesn't cover a lot of ground. I think Marte and Nimmo had a miscommunication too at some point yesterday. Ball ends up hitting the wall, bouncing off. It's a double. It's you just got to do better. And we have no outfield. The Nationals have good outfielders. They've been throwing people out from their outfield, against us, dude. It's so annoying coming in here and we have absolutely no outfield. And it's I understand, McNeil has been thrown in left field. He does great, but it's you rather have him at second base because, him linking up with Lindor, that middle infield is so good. You don't want to have to throw McNeil in left field because you have nobody else. He's a better second baseman. He's better used to you there, which is, where he was yesterday. That's great. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just really sad to see just nothing really working at all. Peterson still goes 5 innings, even though he's giving up runs every single inning he pitched, literally. And it's just, his final line is 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks. Through 94 pitches, gives you no depth, but you have to keep them in there because it's you've been using your bullpen guys at this point. And it just seems at that point, throwing Tommy Hunter in the 6th, gives up runs immediately again. Literally, the Mets gave up runs every single inning, I think, except for the 9th because, the Nationals didn't bat in the bottom of the 9th. So kind of ridiculous, dude. I don't know. Tommy Hunter, I mean, it's a tough line for him too. 3 innings, 4 earned runs. That's a little unusual for him. But again, going through David Peterson, you can imagine, the Nationals lineup confident in their at bats, dude. They strung some good hits against Tommy Hunter because they had all the confidence in the world because it was facing David Peterson for the first 5 innings and being successful. I mean, it was an absolute joke, honestly. And again, I don't know, from both of them, from what I see, it looked like the Nationals love hitting pitches in the top of the strike zone. And for some reason, that's all they fucking did was throw pitches in the top of the strike zone. If it wasn't a pitch at the top of the strike zone, it was just a hanging slider. There was just nothing good at all, obviously, about yesterday. It's an absolute joke, dude. You're still 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. I think 7th inning, maybe Alvarez comes up with, 2 men on, there's 2 outs. He gets walked, bases are loaded, and he ends up getting picked off at first base. What are you doing, dude? I understand Alvarez is the second time he's made a mistake on the bases in terms of being aggressive. We saw him get thrown out, I think, a few games ago, possibly against the Nationals. I forget. But anyway, and then he gets thrown out at first. You just get picked off. After a pitch, you just caught sleeping. Maybe, good opportunity. I think, I forget who was up. I think maybe Nimmo was up at that point, top of the lineup, someone who can produce some runs. I mean, you never know, dude. All of a sudden, it's it's a grand slam. It's a 10-7 game, instead you get picked off at first, and there's just nothing good there. You're 20-22 now. Miami has a better record than you. There's really no bright spots at all. And you got a game tonight Obviously, the Mets are getting visited by the Tampa Bay Rays, the best team in baseball. You got Verlander on the mound. I think the Rays are throwing out a bullpen guy to start off too. I'm not sure who it is, but again, you think Justin Verlander, you think right now your best pitcher, which doesn't really say much, but he's still, throwing well. His last outing was phenomenal. He's coming back from injury, progressively getting better. You've physically seen that, which is also great. He's got a good attitude. The man wants to win. So you bet your ass and come out here against the best team in baseball, against a good lineup, wanting to prove himself. So you're happy about that. But I mean, like, can the offense do well here? Can we make smart plays? Like, is our bullpen, you would imagine, because Tommy Hunter was used yesterday, bullpen well rested for Tampa Bay here. We have our usual suspects in Robertson and Ottavino. Hopefully they don't have to give you much, an inning apiece, save them for this series here. And you can try and get something going. This is the first good team you're playing in a while. So maybe you're going to rise to the occasion. Who knows? You would hope so. But I think there's serious question marks all around the team. I mentioned just a few in terms of what's your outfield going to be doing, like starting pitching, obviously a lot having to do with defense. Pete Alonso was someone yesterday who also had nothing really to show for his game. 1 for 4 with a strikeout. I think he struck out 2 on a Patrick Corbin like fastball over the middle of the plate, 93 miles an hour. And it's like you're swinging behind that. Like, I don't know. Alonso's been absolutely ice cold too. He's someone who you really need to look to start producing offensively. I mean, he's supposed to be your guy. I think he still is up there in terms of leading the league in home runs. He's got 13 home runs, I believe, which is fine. But I mean, let's start hitting home runs again. Like, he was explosive to start the season, but now he's absolutely ice cold.
I mean, you talk about home runs. This team hasn't hit any home runs in 5 games, last 5 games.
That's tough.
I forget how many.
How are you going to win?
It's tough to win without hitting home runs. So
yeah,
outside Pete Alonso, where's the home run power? You talked about
there isn't.
You talked about pitching.
Yeah.
When you're struggling pitching, that's a key signal to the opposing team that we're going to get up here and be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're 21st in the major leagues with 41 home runs and not hitting any home runs in the meantime, and you're pitching struggling, that's very difficult to win. As you can see here, they're struggling.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, but I do think part of it is they are putting a hole, they are pressing, because that happened to the Yankees, of course. But the pitching's got to be better. I was doing a little research, Tony. The first guy, and I've already mentioned this to Tony. I don't know if you were watching the other day when I mentioned this, but why not for the Mets just sign Bumgarner to a minor league contract? I know he got torched, but he's pitched well before. He's a veteran. You're telling me he can't give you a better professional outing than David Peterson?
At least a quality start.
Yeah.
No, I mean Peterson.
I personally don't think he will. Will it's worth it to get a chance on him? Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if I'm Billy Epler at this point, like, you're getting questioned a lot. I mean,
your job's on the line.
Your job is on the line. $350 million payroll here, and you're getting absolutely torched by teams that are the worst in the league. You have to do something. I would start making like rash moves quickly right now, honestly. Like, bring in Bumgarner it could do something. Bring in Trevor Bauer could do something.
Yeah, Bauer is a good one.
Again, just bring him in. Why not? Dude? You can't be sending out David Peterson. You
also,
really can't,
Pineda and Keuchel are out there. I wouldn't
Dallas
mind.
Keuchel's out there too.
Struggled last year.
Yeah.
I have to check with about Pineda. But the whole thing is, those are veteran pitchers. Just give them a try, because a lot of times we've seen guys everyone thinks is done. David Robertson's a good one. He had that elbow surgery. He was just hanging out in the balance. The Rays end up picking him up after the Phillies released him, and now all of a sudden he was a coveted free agent reliever. His ERA is under 1 with the Mets. I mean, you never know how much someone actually has left in the tank, especially if they exceeded at a high level before.
I mean, we just named 4 pitchers they should be going after. So, I mean, like,
you got to do something.
I don't want to, and even Tyler McGill, even too. Like, at this point, he's worthless to me. Worthless. David Peterson, worthless. I don't want to hear Carlos Carrasco is coming back. Like, I don't want to hear that, dude.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough spot to be into. And I think what's led them to this is, I've mentioned it to Tony, the way that they've constructed this team over the last years. And it's great what they're doing with Beatty and Alvarez. But in terms of guys they brought from outside the organization, they're all mid to upper 30s. Like, you're not going to win that way. Everyone's going to get injured. I mean, you have to have youth. So I think that's one thing that's holding them back right now. Giving Marte that contract, a speed guy when he's in his mid-30s. I mean, it's just not.
He's got 11 stolen bases though.
But it's you're leaving yourself susceptible.
Susceptible. Very, very, dude.
So and Mauricio they could bring up, and who else, Tony?
Mark Vientos.
Okay, yeah, so then they're both still tearing it up. No talk about it.
Dude, literally, all I'm seeing is Mauricio highlights. Like, why not bring him up, dude? I know the guy plays third base. Yesterday you gave Beatty the day off and you started Escobar. Like, why wouldn't you just brought up like Mauricio, throw him at third? You're already resting Beatty. And honestly, like at this point, like you want McNeil to stay second base, throw Beatty in the outfield. He's played the outfield before. Bring up Vientos, put him at third, and get Tommy Pham fucking out of there, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, unbelievable, dude. That, like, he was starting left field, batting in the 4 spot. Like, that's unbelievable, dude. It's not good.
Yeah. So, be interesting to see, how they respond. Obviously, it's just tough. We've just reached about the quarter point of the season. So, you want to feel good about something. And when you have a stretch like they're going through against these bad teams, I mean, it's tough to be optimistic, but I mean, this series with the Rays, I mean, it does present an opportunity, especially
for you.
No, but I'm saying, well, for me, if the Mets win, that's great. But I'm saying if you beat the Rays, I mean, obviously you're going to feel good. And I do think they have a better shot than they usually would with Verlander on the hill tonight. I mean, he's a lot better than Beeks. No, I mean,
again, you would imagine so. You never know. Like, who knows about this Beeks guy? I haven't done much research on him, dude. But again, like Verlander, he's been getting better. They talk about like his injury because he's pitching more. He's getting better. Like he's getting to 100%. He's going to be there. I mean, the pitch count should be like as long as he can go at this point, and you have your best bullpen guys to follow him up with too. So, and again, you would imagine, between that, maybe some offense going, come the 7th inning when Verlander might be coming out of the game, like, oh, maybe it's like a 5-1 game. Maybe it's like a 4-0 game where you can put someone who, save your better bullpen guys, just throw maybe Drew Smith out there to start off or bring him. And then like kind of let them coast, dude. Like give Robertson, give Ottavino some extra days rest, and then you can use him for the next game because you're probably going to need him in the next game. I think Senga starts after Verlander. He's a big fucking question mark too. Talk about giving runs up in the first inning. I mean, that's kind of been his game so far. So I don't know, dude. We'll see. I mean, you're hopeful for sure. Verlander, you're happy about, but I mean, you're not happy about anything really at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I mean, I literally was just there. Just funny though how quick a season could change because Mets, got out to a decent start, and then all of a sudden it was just like one thing after the next, and Scherzer and Verlander with the injuries. Senga looked good originally. Now he's walking the park. Alonso was on fire, and then he gets cold. I mean, it's just like one thing to the next.
This is another thing too. Matthew said it too. Still early. It's not. It's really
quarter
not
of the way.
That early.
Quarter of the way. Half.
People, everyone calls in. All the Mets fans, the Dave and Rick. Oh, it's early this, early that. Like, no, it's fucking not early, bro. Yeah. And like nothing looks good. It's not even like you can say one good thing. I don't care. Like, yeah, Marte did steal. He put in a good position. McNeil brought him. Whatever, dude. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, because he sucked all season.
Yep.
Like, you want to do that now? Fine, dude. Like, unfortunately, what you're contributing is doing nothing for us to win this game because we have too many fucking runs and no one else is hitting. Like, it's not early, okay? It's, like you said, quarter of the way through here. We got to start making moves, like, now, dude. Like, that was our time to bolster our record. Like, that just passed, and we fucking totally blew it. Like, totally blew it. All right? Like, there's a hard division. The Braves have been clicking. It's. I know they got swept, but, like, they're going to be fine. Like, they're a team you're not worried about.
Right.
The Mets getting absolutely torched in this stretch here, you're worried about, dude.
Yeah.
Like, time is now, Matthew. The time is now. Thank you. Yes.
You kind of feel like, how do you feel about him saying he's just trying to make you feel better?
Well, I think that's pretty fucking stupid, Matthew. This obviously didn't work, dude. Like, you got to figure something out, dude.
Oh, man. Are you backing them, though, tonight?
Yeah, sure. I'll back him.
Yeah. You think Verlander's going to give him 7?
Oh, yeah. I might even give him 8, dude. Again, like, Verlander has displayed like how he feels about, obviously pitching for the Mets, his intention. This guy's a competitor. He's going to be out there giving his best every single time. And you've been seeing that, I think, from his return and everything. And it obviously is a breath of fresh air. The games he pitches, we win because, the lineup is like, all right, like we were not going to give up runs in the first inning. And even if Verlander does, the guy's an absolute pro. His first start coming back from injury, gave up, I think, 2 home runs in the first inning and then coasted. You know, like he settled in, and then his next start was just being settled in from the get-go, something we haven't really seen with Mets pitching at all this season. So you'd imagine, again, I know against a tougher lineup, but in reality, I mean, you know, Verlander has been in these situations before. He's faced tough lineups. He knows exactly what he's doing. And from what I can tell, too, I mean, he's 100%. So that's great to hear that he's healthy. So I don't know. I think you're going to see certainly an uptick of level of play here. And if the Mets are going to win any game in this series, it's going to be tonight. So I'm going to say, give me the Mets. I'm not going to say like, wow, they scored 10 runs or anything. But I'll say they win 6-2.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, with the Yankees here with Gausman, I think, you know, they're going to start with the backs against the wall. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to go 1 to 2 times through the lineup without them getting any runs. However, I think one thing that they need to do on their side is make sure you work the count, you make him throw pitches, because then he's not going to be able to hang around till the 7th, till the 8th inning. So he might go 6, you know, he might strike out double digits. They might only get a couple of hits. But once that bullpen comes in and they might be protecting maybe a 2-0 lead, I don't think Herman is going to pitch bad, but he also might not shut him out. You know, they might be down 2-0, you know, going into the 6th inning, and I could see them, you know, putting together some hits, you know, whether it's, you know, Volpe and Torres, LeMahieu, Cabrera's been on fire. You know, I could see Rizzo maybe hitting another one. I mean, his numbers are unbelievable. OPS over 9, slugging over 520, on base approaching 400 with an average over 300. Those are some ridiculous numbers for Anthony Rizzo. So I think they rally against the bullpen, chip away. And I'm going to say Rizzo with a 3-run homer in the 8th to take a 5-3 lead. And they end up winning it by that score, 5-3. I think they go Wandy for the save again. He's had some confidence in that role. And it's nice to see Boone finally move off of Holmes. You know, they had brought him in consecutive times and it wasn't working. And even though sometimes it was soft contact, maybe a bad play in the field, but if it's every time he's in, regardless of the circumstances, you got to do something different. And I think he's done that in the form of Wandy Peralta. That changeup, very effective, whether he's going against lefty or righty batters. So give me the Yankees here, 5-3. What do you got for number 2, Tony?
Number 2, I'm going to take the Cleveland Guardians here on the road against the Chicago White Sox. Shane Bieber, huge spot for him tonight, I think, against the White Sox lineup that's absolutely struggled to score runs this season. They've dropped 4 out of the last 5 games, I think, stealing 1 game from the Astros. It was like a 3-1 win, though. You know, it wasn't like, wow, they scored 12 runs. What an offensive explosion, dude. I think Shane Bieber, honestly, give me a honestly complete game shutout here.
Wow.
Give me the 9 innings, no earned runs. I'm going to say 12 Ks for him. Which I know the strikeout stuff hasn't really been there a lot. I know against the Yankees, he lasted 8 innings, but I think only fanned like 5 or 6 people or something like that. So yeah, give me the complete game shutout for him tonight, proving, hey man, I'm still in this run for Cy Young. Let's go. And then on top of that, I mean, the Guardians against Lance Lynn, I think could match up pretty well. I'll say they win this game 5-0.
I'm going with a theme here. And last night I was actually catching part of the Padres Royals game. I don't know if you saw, but Michael Wacha with a no-hitter into the 8th inning. So the former Met great. As soon as, you know, he threw over 100 pitches, then they lifted him. Tough start to the season, has really rebounded. So speaking of, you know, former Mets, Seth Lugo on the hill for the Padres today at home against the Royals. Obviously, Padres have been mediocre to start, similar record to the Mets. But the Royals are terrible. They're 12-31. Brady Singer came into this year with decent expectations. His ERA is just under 8, which is obviously embarrassing. David Peterson territory. I think the Padres really do to get some consistency here, playing a bad team, playing a pitcher who is getting hit. You know, you think about Bogarts and Soto and Tatis and Machado, even Matt Carpenter. So I think they're going to be all over the Royals. I think Lugo will give them a solid 6 innings, 2 earned. End of the day, Padres 8-4 over the Royals.
Holy cow, dude. I think for my next game here, 3rd and final.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to ride the St. Louis Cardinals wave right now, dude.
Unbelievable what they've been able to do. Flaherty finally got his head out of his.
Yeah. Derriere, dude. Wow.
Right, though? I mean, that was pretty impressive last night.
Yeah, no, super impressive. And that was their 4th win in a row. They swept Boston.
Crushed Boston.
Crushed him. I think scored something like 21 runs in that series, a 3-game series. They almost equaled that. The first game last night against the Brewers, scoring 18 runs, dude. 18 runs off 16 hits. By the way, only give up 1 run as well. So, they were just absolutely destroying the Brewers last night. And then on the mound tonight, we got Montgomery, dude. So, I mean, I think you absolutely love that. I know he hasn't had like some phenomenal outings, got into some trouble against the Cubs most recently in his recent start. But then before that, I mean, LA 6 2/3, 1 earned run. San Francisco 6 innings, no earned runs. So we've seen some up and downs from him. But I think maybe against this Brewers, lineup, and hopefully the Cardinals are still pumping offensively. Let him calm down a little bit. Knows he has some run support. I say St. Louis. I say breezes to 6-3 win.
All right, and I'm going to take the Mariners for my last pick. This Red Sox pitching is really killing them. I believe Kluber got hammered last night. They lost 10-1 at home, and this time they got Nick Pivetta, ERA over 6. I know, great story last year, but it's been terrible this year. Luis Castillo, crown jewel of the trade deadline last season, has pitched well for Seattle. 2-1, 2.7, or the Yankees. That would have been nice instead of Montas. 46 innings, 52 Ks, only 9 walks against 52 Ks. So a 5-1, over 5-1 strikeout to ball ratio. That's what you like to see. And Seattle, I think they would have hoped for a better start, almost the same record as the Red Sox here. But I think this is where they start establishing themselves. They took 2 out of 3 in Detroit, previous series. I think at the minimum, they're going to do that here. And I think Castillo can keep these Red Sox bats at bay. And I mean, the Mariner offense should be all over Pivetta. Cal Raleigh, the catcher, hit 2 home runs yesterday. Jared Kelenic, still hitting near 300.
Wow, dude.
Doing great things.
He used to be in the Mets organization.
Yeah. He seems pretty nice, Yeah. End of the day, it all results in a big 8-2 Seattle victory here over the Boston Red Sox.
Love it, dude.
So a lot of good baseball being played. So definitely looking forward to watching these games tonight.
Oh yeah, dude.
And just all the stories that come up, moving forward.
It's gonna be a great night of baseball. Like you said, a lot of games. Hey, Dwayne, lock of the night tonight, dude.
Lock of the night?
Lock of the night. If you're betting 1 game.
Reds
are off. Are they playing tonight?
I think they're off tonight.
Oh, they are off tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Yankees probably, right?
I want the Yankees coming in confident when they come into Cincinnati. So I want them to keep winning, and then when they come to Cincinnati, we're gonna lay the hammer on them. So I'll go with the Yankees.
Classic overlook spot.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And if I was gonna do a game that I didn't take,
no one asked you, dude.
I'm gonna tell you anyway. I would take the Astros. They've had an uneven start, but the Cubs, Steele's on the mound, always been great. But Houston at home, I think you're gonna start seeing more of that Houston Astros team that we saw win the World Series last year.
Really?
So I think they should be able to dominate them. No, Tony?
Yeah, no, definitely. And if I were to tell you another pick,
well, no one asked you.
But I'm gonna tell you anyway, dude. Honestly, I would probably take the Nationals over the Marlins.
Wow.
I just think Luzardo, seen him give up a lot of hits, and then Josiah Gray has been pitching really well recently.
Better late than never,
dude. So think about it.
Dodgers over Twins.
Wow.
Tonight.
Wow.
Wait, how'd they do last night, Brian?
The Dodgers won, I think.
Really?
Syndergaard only went 4. They're trying to manage him, whatever that means.
It's okay, dude. I'll take it. Wow, in 12 innings they won.
Oh, okay. So the Twins came back, but I don't know. The whole thing with Syndergaard's embarrassing.
Let's go. So what's the record at right now, dude? Our record.
Oh, my apologies here. So you are still up 2. And I'll give you the exact circumstance here in 1 second.
Wow, dude.
Of course, you asked me. I have the whole time right in front of me.
And I don't understand why you didn't keep it there, though. I don't understand why. You gotta be ready. Dodgers used 6 bullpen guys yesterday after Syndergaard. Jeez,
they've really gotten hot after a slow start.
Their offense is absolutely
clicking,
ridiculous.
Yeah, Muncy. I thought he was done. I thought he was a sub 200 hitter.
Literally. Clayton Kershaw on the mound for them tonight too. That's gotta be nice.
And we talk about it all the time, but it's like the cast of characters changes all the time, but yet the consistency, the winning, it just never leaves them.
Yeah, dude.
They always dominate the Padres, despite the Padres the last couple of years having more talent. It's 45-43. Tony,
wow.
So a close one here.
And how about the Dodgers? You know, even when they took out the Giants like 2 years ago in the wild card, and the Giants were over 100 games, they were going to be like, whoa, dude, they took him out easily, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So definitely a well-run organization for sure.
Tremendous pottery.
Let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot. Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan's skull. Oh my goodness.
Gets the top right back. Terrifying and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin.
It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
Right, all right. So we had the exciting Game 7 in the National Hockey League last night. And, of course, Tony was riled as the Dallas Stars hold off the Seattle Kraken here 2-1 to advance to the Western Conference Finals. So definitely, you know, a surprise here if you just think back going to the beginning of the year, but not after, you know, you saw them play. And I will give Tony credit. All season, you know, he was saying what a strong team they are. Odinger, I think they were saying one of the most like combined saves in a game 6 and 7. Was it over 80 saves, Tony?
Yeah. Was it really over 80? No.
Yeah. No. Between both games.
Oh, both games. Were you saying game 6 and 7?
Yeah.
I guess that's possible. It seems like a lot, dude. I mean, he had 27 last night, and then I think he had 40. So it was over.
It probably is right
there,
dude. Which is interesting, and you know, obviously, it sets up you know, the Western Conference Finals, Stars and Golden Knights. You know, that'll get underway on Friday, and then Thursday will be the Hurricanes and the Panthers. So not exactly the Final Four that we expected going into these playoffs. But do you guys think like it makes it more exciting that different teams are in the mix and we have potential? I don't know. Actually, you would know this better than me, Tony. What we know, the Golden Knights haven't won a title. Have the Stars?
Yeah. Like in their entire career, yes.
Stars have won, and then what about we got the Panthers and the Hurricanes won, and
Hurricanes
Panthers have
won. Panthers, I don't believe so.
Okay, so 2 of the 4, which is interesting storyline. A newer team like Vegas, so you got Vegas, Dallas, and then you think about North Carolina and Florida. So definitely, you know, an interesting feeling. I just thought last night's game was great, just how close it was. I think it was a scoreless first period there, and really just domination by the Stars, you know, not allowing a goal until I think it was like the final 12 seconds of the game. So almost went the whole game, shutting them out. 19:41 remaining when Bjorkstrand had his fourth goal here to make it 2-1. And I think they had one kind of time where the puck came close to the net. I watched most of the game. But just not enough. So Seattle takes a huge step forward in their second season in the NHL.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And Dallas, I mean, it's got to be at least, Tony, a while where the Stars have been to this point, or no?
I mean, they won the Cup, I think, in 99.
Okay.
So,
but since then, they probably haven't been to even the Western Conference Finals. No, haven't they been kind of?
I'm trying to remember.
Madonna years, maybe they were okay.
No, yeah, I'm trying to think the COVID year. When they were in the bubble in Saskatchewan, I think they made it maybe to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, really?
Or at least maybe they got eliminated in the second round. I'll have to double check here. But continue. I'll double check.
So, you know, and it is a shame for those teams that you felt maybe weren't the best team in the league, but had a good shot. It feels like an opportunity blown because I think these series, we can't say definitively.
Oh, yeah, they made it to the Cup Finals. Sorry, 2020. In the bubble.
Oh, in the bubble.
Tampa Bay.
No, but is that was the conference finals though? Because didn't Tampa Bay play Montreal?
No, for Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, Eastern Conference Finals. That's okay. Yeah. So you know, it is different for sure. I mean, just kind of looking at it at first glance, you know, if I had to kind of give you know, a prediction here, I feel like out of the East, I want to say the Hurricanes, because I just think it's like everybody's been kind of sleeping on them. I think Florida's gotten the hype and, well deserved. I mean, anytime you take out a 65 win team as an 8 seed, you're going to get that. All the work that Chuck has done. But I just feel like Carolina kind of underrated, and kind of a team that reminds me of them is who I think they're going to face off against, and that's going to be the Golden Knights. I think all season they were kind of downplayed, the inconsistencies, not the same goal production from Jack Eichel. I really think they do have a lot of similarities, and I think it would be a fascinating matchup in the Stanley Cup Finals, and one that we haven't seen before. But I am kind of curious kind of what you guys think is in terms of who's going to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Man, that's super tough. I mean, again, just thinking about the East, I agree with you. I think Carolina has been slept on. A lot of people were kind of writing them out because of Svechnikov, obviously being injured, and then not really knowing what their goalie situation would be like. It seems like that really hasn't been an issue, but I mean, I don't know, dude. You match them up against the Panthers, and the Panthers have been such a gritty, like hard-hitting, physical team that capitalizes really well on mistakes. So, and honestly, the Hurricanes aren't a team that makes many mistakes. So it's a really great matchup. Honestly, if on paper, you're thinking Hurricanes, obviously, I mean, every series the Panthers were in, it was always on paper the other team was better. But I'm going to go Panthers, dude. I just think that, the team has been like getting hot at the right time. Bobrovsky's been playing outstanding hockey, outstanding goaltending this entire playoffs for them. So I think because of that hot goaltender, a couple guys, they haven't really had an answer. No team has had an answer for the Tkachuk line. So again, Carolina has great defense, so we'll see, but I'm going to say it's going to be Panthers. And then out of the West, I guess I got to give you Dallas, dude.
Yeah,
Dallas, Florida.
Ride with your guys.
Yeah, ride with the Stars.
Who do you think?
Yeah, I believe I got to go with the Hurricanes. I think they've been slept on throughout the whole season. But when you look at the Hurricanes in general, they are a tough team for opponents to pass through the neutral zone. And you talk about turnovers and mistakes. Like, they are averaging 13.5 neutral zone takeaways per 60 and 5-on-5 in the playoffs just alone. And I just think they're hot at the right time. They're playing great hockey. The Florida is going to be a tough matchup for them, but I think I'm just riding with the Hurricanes because they're going to be a difficult out. It's hard for me to say that they're going to be beaten in a 7-game series. And out of the East, I have to go with the West, I have to go with Dallas as well. Yeah. I think
they had a great year.
Yeah, they've
been consistent.
From the start to like almost the finish, I think Dallas is just the better team out there.
Yeah. And I think like last night, and I think Jay has a few comments. We'll get to his comments, but Ottinger, last night, was, like, coming off of a bad game too, where he got pulled in game 6, gave up, I think, like 4 goals on like 15 shots or something. To come back game 7 and to be locked down is absolutely phenomenal. And a few comments from Jay, who was sad. Obviously, he was rooting for the Kraken. He's got a little sad face there. Grubauer was on his head all night. Dude, Grubauer made some ridiculous saves on like Tyler. He was robbing Tyler Seguin like all night. There was a few breakaway opportunities. And Grubauer like was a huge reason why the Kraken were in this game to start off. And I think the Hintz goal was off a breakaway, and it was just a matter of time. Honestly, at that point before Dallas scored, because their offensive pressure was so like immense and consistent and controlled. And they really did a great job with that. J.O. says Stars capitalized on the Kraken mistakes. Again, speaking of like Hintz's goal, defenseman mishandled the puck. It absolutely gets pickpocketed by Hintz, takes the game into his hands. Rupert Hintz, by the way, I believe is second in terms of points this postseason. I think he has 19 total points. The guy who actually still remains in first is Connor McDavid, who had 20 points this postseason. So you imagine Hintz is going to surpass that as he's continuing in the postseason. But totally like phenomenal to see Rupert Hintz get hot again for the Stars in the postseason, because Jason Robertson hasn't had a goal, I don't think, this series against the Kraken. He may have had a goal in the first round, but he was their guy. He was the Stars' guy all season. Hintz, I think, had like 70 points in the season. Phenomenal season for him too. But he wasn't their leading goal scorer, like Jason Robertson was. And for Hintz to come up huge this postseason where other guys have kind of faltered. Again, a big reason why Dallas is in it. Jay Bird excited about the new teams in the playoff is great for hockey in general. It really is, dude. And again, Seattle expansion teams, Vegas expansion team, to see them go this far in the playoffs is huge for, other cities getting interested in hockey teams. And he goes 24 versus 24. Jay and I were watching the game last night, and Rupert Hintz, the guy he pickpocketed, was number 24, and Hintz is 24. So it was like, like 20, dude. It was a really great game, honestly, watching yesterday. It was so, like you said, it was nothing over the first period. It was tight game. Like, again, these are two teams. One team who has never been to a game 7, never been in the playoffs before. And then the Stars, who have been here recently, looking to get back to it, who were a favorite coming out of the West too. There was a lot of emotions, like a lot going on, to build up at this game. Of course, it's a game 7 too. So to see, this game again, to be like tightly contested too, 2-1. What looked like was going to be a little bit of Dallas kind of taking it away, Seattle Kraken playing back, Grubauer keeping them in the game. It was just a great hockey game. I think one of the top game 7s, I think this season so far in the postseason.
Yeah, rivaling the Boston and Florida game.
Yeah.
So been a great postseason. We get a couple of days off here, and then the Hurricanes game will start on Thursday. So excited to see that matchup with Florida for sure. The only other thing I just wanted to ask Dwayne your opinion on here, because Tony doesn't, get too into the NBA here. Do the Lakers, they have game 1 tonight, 8:30 in Denver. We saw them knock out the defending champs. We saw how well Denver, has played this whole postseason, being the number 1 seed in the West. Do you think this is going to be a tight series that could go 7? And do you think the Lakers, as a 7 seed, have a chance here to knock off Denver?
I think, well, first of all, I don't think anyone had a Lakers game to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But
nobody had a beating Memphis even.
0.3% chance to make it to the playoffs in the beginning of the season. So
2-10.
It's just a credit to the turnover of their roster and how they got here this far. But yeah, I think if you're looking at how they're playing, this is probably the first time in LeBron's career that he actually has players that can create their own shots for them, and he doesn't have to do that himself.
No, he's just kind of chilling back, distributing, and going, shooting when seeing fit.
Picking and choosing his spots. You have Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, D'Angelo Russell. When healthy, again, I said this like many times, like when healthy, the Lakers have an opportunity to be the best team in the West. When healthy.
Right. And that big when and if, obviously.
So if you're looking at this game against the series against the Nuggets, Jokic versus AD is going to be, if you look at the paper, the biggest matchup across the board.
Right.
So in my opinion, Jokic and AD will cancel out each other.
Yep.
I really hope AD takes this matchup to heart, because Jokic is going to give you his 25 and 10 or whatnot. But AD has to come out strong. You notice in the second half, AD has a pattern of falling off towards the end of the game, whether it is them not giving him the ball or whatnot, but he's still being effective defensively. But in this series, I really think he is going to have to contribute more offensively than the previous series.
Yeah. And one thing, credit to the Lakers front office. Never seen a team improve so much, bring in so much talent they didn't have anything to give up. I don't know how they did it. I mean, obviously Austin Reeves has developed into a really quality starter, but to bring in Russell, to bring in Beasley, to bring in Vanderbilt, and I know Schroeder was a offseason addition, bringing him back from the title team. They've really just rebuilt the roster so well, where whoever's in there, they're going to be competent. They're going to be ready to go. And I think this is going to be a 7-game series. We saw how tough they played the Suns, taking them out in 6. But I think LeBron returns 11th NBA Finals. But it's going to take 7 games, and it's going to take Tony with the ahs and the oohs and the frowns. And I just am envisioning that. So something to see. Game 1 tonight, 8:30. Yes. Michael sobbing in the corner. Michael potentially sobbing.
Yeah, dude.
But other than that, Tony, do we have screen time today? Or
dude, we have screen time coming up. Manny's lingering outside right now. We actually have a great episode. We actually had like a breaking news type of trailer drop. Extraction 2 trailer came out. Could be on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen Extraction 1. Chris Hemsworth, the guy who plays Thor, basically like extraction, right? He's going to this remote location area, extracting like some people, saving some people. Long story short, great action movie. And he's just a phenomenal actor. Trailer dropped to be on Netflix, I think in June. And then whatchamacallit, Manny and I have been watching White House Plumbers. I don't know. I think I was telling you about this. Brian, too. Episode 3 came out last night, dude.
What are you doing?
Dude, great show. Absolutely hilarious. Watergate, Nixon, bunch of
Frost
hooligans,
Nixon.
dude. Frost Nixon, great movie. We've been through. So we're breaking that down, too. So it's a great episode of Manny and I in studio. And obviously it happens at noon. So, you have a little break between sports, and screen time. And then, come around back, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely recommend checking that out, as well as keep an eye out for 6 o'clock tonight, the Mighty Morphin Power Plumbers cast behind the scenes premiering on our YouTube page, 6 o'clock. So you definitely want to check that out.
Let's go, baby.
What a great, the whole production, to be able to see it from behind the scenes.
Amazing.
We saw how good the actual product was. Now we get to see how it was made. So I encourage everyone to check that out. You have the Gaming Corner episode from last night, Gran Turismo 3. Michael, Tony going to war. So you definitely want to check
that was a great time.
One out as well as all the episodes, on our YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee in costume, all the episodes of Sports, Screen Time, The Dream is Free, Gaming Corner, all of the vlogs, Yankee Stadium. You don't want to miss that one. As well as the merch at downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy their day, enjoy the games.
Go Mets.
Let's go Yankees.
Let's go Reds.
And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.